I was taking drugs to my next door neighbors at the age of like 10. And it was just my mum. She'd, take this down there, and you'd jump on your bike, you'd ride down, you'd give the drugs. I'd start high school, and my mum would have to go to the school and be like, hey, can we get clothes for him? They'd be going through like the lost and found and be like, this one's a little bit ripped, but we can give it to him, that's the best. So when you grow up like that, you don't want to ever put your kids through that. It's embarrassing. I would get transported around in a van, like a smashed up van, old school, with 6-8 kids in the back. And I've got a video of myself sitting in a fucking Lambo. You defy the odds. Being able to share that and just show people, I'm nothing special. It's doable. Yeah, it's a fucking Lambo, but it's what it signifies. Because growing up, you don't think any of that stuff happens to people around you. You don't, because you're just so used to seeing people either fucking die or go to jail. I've done the military twice. I've done the ultra marathons. I've done the business game. It's like a sport now. I've fallen in love with it because I get to compete against big players. I'm cold calling people in Greek. I'm sending pizzas to people's offices with slices missing, saying I'm the missing piece to your business. That's the shit that's gonna make you different. Just fucking give it everything you've got. Every one of my businesses has got a plan. I'm just sticking with those plans. And I do what I do every single day that got me to where I am.
I'm Ren McDonald, and this is The Hope Initiative, a show dedicated to learning about humans on planet Earth, where I speak with everyday people to find moments of success and struggle in their life to help inspire hope in yours. Dylan Johnstone, welcome to The Hope Initiative.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, you're welcome. Back for the second time. As I was bringing you up here into this studio today, I asked if you knew when it was. Any idea now that we're recording?
I think it would have been about 2019.
Yep.
2019, I believe.
Yeah, so the episode, which was episode number 29, came out on the 11th of November, 2019.
There you go.
So almost 4 full years ago, we're recording this a week out from that date, which I thought was pretty cool. In Collingwood as well. We're in Collingwood today. And the amount of days I noted here, so we recorded on the 19th of October, 1,478 days ago, and the episode went live 1,455 days ago. Now, the reason why I've noted down the days is because in that conversation, which people should go back and listen to, you included,
yes,
is because you chatted so candidly about many things that I'd only really heard about for the first time. Podcasting for me was something that I was sort of 8 months in the journey of, which sounds like a long time, but I've learned so much more since. But in re-listening to that, there's so many things that I do now that we talked about that I don't even give you or didn't give you credit for, whether or not I adopted it straight after that fact, after that conversation or not. I'm not 100% sure, but since that time, things have become part of my life from that. So I'm really excited to unpack those today and then learn more from you, and hopefully, at least for me, and I'm sure for people listening, they can start adopting things immediately.
No, very good. It's kind of cool to see that too. So I probably spoke a lot of shit and got excited about all the things that are happening in the future, but I've been singing the same tune for a long time, and you know, you've known me for quite some time. I haven't really changed my dialogue and what I put out there, so just try and keep it real. I'm not here for a short minute, here for a long time, and I'm genuine with how I approach things. So
love it, brother. So the reason as well why I noted down those dates was because we spoke about 75 Hard and Andy Frisella, and I'm sure you've listened. It was the MFCEO back in the day. People who know Andy Frisella will know that podcast, but now the newly branded, it's been a few years now, but Real AF, brilliant podcast. And one of his shorter episodes, he talks about 1,000 days and what was your last 1,000 days like? And I've been obsessed on this concept since hearing that episode. And when I started 75 Hard, I actually messaged you a few days before starting it, and I said, mate, any tips? And I don't have it verbatim, but I could go back in my phone if I wanted to. But it was along the lines of, get it done.
Yeah.
Don't bitch out. Just do the program and you'll get it done.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated that. I ended up doing Live Hard, changed my life. I think where I am today with the podcast is because of that, but also this concept of 1,000 days. So with all of that as context, we're sitting here today, November 2023. I would love to know what your last 1,000 days have looked like, because you are someone who has reappeared on Instagram. You went incognito mode there for a while. I definitely didn't forget about you, but I couldn't find you on the platform, which is fine. But seemingly building some really cool things. And like I said, all that we chatted about 4 years ago is compounding in a way that's pretty remarkable to see, man. So there you go.
No, I appreciate it. And first of all, like, congratulations on your journey and sticking to it. Not many people do that. So the fact that you've actually taken the time to grow through that process and that journey and stay committed to it, it's a testament to the program. And I've got the program tattooed on me. So this is my birth year, and this is obviously the same insignia as the 75 Hard program.
Love that.
So,
I actually never noticed that on you.
Yeah, it's a reminder of me of discipline and the small things that matter. So I'm a sucker for small things. Ask my staff members, if you're like 2 minutes late, I make you do push-ups in the office because how you do anything is how you do everything. And there's a bigger picture to why everything. So like I have at work, you've got to reverse park. If you don't reverse park, I'll crack the shits. Why? Because we're a team. We move together, how we're seen together, how everything is done matters. So when you focus on the micro, then the macro looks fantastic. But you got to get the micro done right, because if you don't focus on the foundations of who you are as an individual, you'll never scale to become someone of any significant importance in your life.
Love that. I mean, even that as a simple thing, like where has that obsession for the micro come from? I mean, the reverse parking is a cool little detail.
Look, there's so much.
I'm sure there's more, yeah.
Even speaking about the last 1,000 days, there's been so many things that have happened in my life, and I'm very, very grateful. I think one of the things that I reflect on as I do look back is every little component, whether I knew it at the time, was a part of the bigger plan. And you get to a point where things happen and you just look up and kind of like, that's a coincidence. So I feel as though as I've kind of gone on my journey, my spirituality side has like come out a lot more, and so has my faith with God. But I'm not going to go too much into that. How I think of that is probably very, very different and far left field to most people. But I feel as though everything's a part of a plan. So as long as you just focus on taking every step every day with good intentions and a genuine heart, you'll be faced doors that you need to open, and those doors will be there for a reason. And whether you realize that now or later on, it will all compound towards it. So for instance, I'm a sucker for reverse parking, but that comes from the military days for safety reasons. And then you understand, okay, fantastic, it's about safety and reversing out. So if you're fatigued, you don't hit someone. But then you hear the side of it where it talks about uniformity and how you're seen as a unit. When you start dealing with suppliers and clients, when your client walks into your office and they see that everyone's dressed the same, everyone has the same standard, it just shows what kind of a organization that team is, and it also represents the leadership of that team as well. So it's a compounding of that stuff. But I reflect on my life. I reflect on my time in the military. I've probably become a lot more of a sucker for that. I have a tendency to probably take it to the extreme about being late and all these things, but I bring it back to that core fact of how you do anything is how you do everything. In the military, if you're late on timing, people die. Food doesn't get delivered, stock doesn't get delivered, bombs go off, things happen. And I think as we see the modern world, we're seeing this a lot more often, that these are realities of life. So yes, it's coming to work on time, but it's everything else for that.
It's a massive piece of the puzzle, for sure. So when we last recorded over 1,000 days ago, which is 1,000 days is just under 3 years for anyone listening who's trying to do the mental arithmetic, but you were working, I believe, for the rail company doing like the level crossings, the rail company, like Metro. And that was the thing. Now you're running your own company, Platinum Health Supply. So I'm curious to know how that sort of came about. I have theories, but I don't necessarily need to go into my theories. But for you, what can you share? How did all of that come about?
As I kind of went on I was always quite entrepreneurial, as we've spoken about before, always driven, always wanting to find that little 1%. So when you put that out to the universe, you attract that. So I was fortunate enough obviously with the gym as well, that I attracted like-minded individuals, and we used to catch up and talk about all the things that we were doing. And I had a few friends in business that were all doing different stuff. We used to catch up, talk about ideas, where I could add value. I'd add value. Unlike them, I didn't have my own business or my own company. I started to do smaller things on the side. Like I tried e-commerce, I tried drop shipping, I tried so many different things. I was doing online coaching.
Yeah.
What I did was I was taking small steps and taking action and failing a lot. They were like pivotal moments to teach me a lot of lessons that later taught me a lot in business. But we used to, again, catch up, smoke shisha, talk about all the things that we were doing. In my career, I was very much the same, very driven. I wanted to learn about all of the stuff that no one else wanted to learn about. So while I was in that safety career, I learned about occupational health and safety. I learned about quality management. Quality management was a massive thing for me. So I learned how every business is put together, essentially. Policies, procedures, HR, onboarding, accounting, reconciliation, the whole entire process, feedback in the loop, document control, data control, policies, procedures, like everything that you can imagine about a business and how it operates. I learned how to audit that whole entire process.
Wow.
And that was because someone just didn't want to do the course, and they said, hey, Dylan, no one wants to do this course. You want to do it? And I was like, yeah, I want to do it. I'll try it out. Let's see how we go. So because I learned that, I learned environmental management next, sustainability management. So as my friends were starting all these companies, I was going in and helping them set up their business so they could go and engage bigger businesses like, facility maintenance companies, and go in and have their documents squared together, invoice templates, properly like actual company profiles and how they presented themselves and reflected themselves online so that they could win work. That was kind of my additional value add to the crew. I then started, like I said, e-commerce, drop shipping, clothing, online coaching. These were all concurrent things that I was doing. I was just hustling. I always wanted more on top of my career. And these things, although I didn't give them my full energy and effort, they were enough to get that flare and that fire going. I then kind of found my niche, and I wanted to take the lessons that I learned from the military and give back. And on my journey, I've realized that when you do a business, if you have a purpose greater than your own selfish desires, the doors will open up for you. They open up tenfold. And that's a little bit of alpha I'll drop. So if you're starting a business, don't be focused on the numbers. Focus on the impact. Because if you focus on the impact, everything else will come. So this was the evolving stages of my first ever real business, I'd say. And that was Welcome to Hell. So this was a 22-hour immersive experience where I'd grab people off the street that had anxiety, depression, weren't able to really flick that switch for themselves, so to speak.
Yeah.
And really give life a hot crack. So these people, I grabbed them. I put together a course, 22 hours, no food, no sleep, all different types of exercises. I had friends from ex-special forces, mid-military, all come down, help me put together this course. I had a commercial partnership with Skydive Australia, and then we would smash them for 22 hours and then we'd throw them out of a plane. And this is where I can share another little bit of alpha. This all started because I had this idea, and one of the things that I've always done is I put my ideas out there. I would have never started this business if I did not tell someone about my idea. Had a phone call with the guy. His name was Kai at the time. And I said, I'm doing this program. And he's like, that program sounds amazing. And I was like, yeah, do you want to do it? He's like, mate, I'd pay to do it. And I was like, sweet as. I'll send you my BSB and account number, transfer me right now, and I'll put you on the next course. He's like, okay, sweet as. How much is it? I'm like, $3,000. He transferred me $3,000 on the spot on that phone.
Wow.
And then I received the money, and that was the first time I ever received money. I remember seeing the notification come through, and I'm like, okay, shit. Now I need to find a whole bunch of candidates to fill the course up. I need to find instructors. I need to know what the hell I'm doing. I had no idea. The business wasn't even registered. I didn't have an Instagram. I had nothing.
Yeah.
And it all started with just a conversation and then getting someone to commit to an idea. And then from there, I used I just pushed and I made it happen. We filled the course. I got everything up and going, and then we launched. All from just one conversation.
Love that.
So yeah, that's how it kind of started from there. We did a really good first course down here in Melbourne. Then we did a second course. Mind you, this is the same time while I'm working as well. So I'm working my full-time corporate job in rail construction. Those who know that space, you work ridiculous hours. So I was working like 50 to 60 hours a week, plus on top of that, doing everything else to try and set up this business. So first course was really good, extremely profitable business, service-based business, and just as we started to go into COVID. So started the second one, did the second course in Brisbane. From there, I saw that this business was something that I could scale. So I started to get to the point where I was like, okay, I can replace my income now. So I was dealing with the unions, wasn't really enjoying my time in construction, and I just said, fuck it. I pulled the trigger and I said, I quit. I'm going all in on this business. And one of my friends said, now that you've got free time, can you come in and help me get this other business of mine up and going? So I was like, okay, I'm going to do both. I'm going to help my friend with some consulting with what I knew about business, and I'm going to get Welcome to Hell pumping. We'll take it to a whole nother level. And that business that I went in to help was a very good friend of mine and still a business partner. His name's Ben. We call him Ben. We don't use his Turkish name because no one can pronounce it anyway. So we did that. I then jumped on and helped him out part-time. And he was in the process of getting equity in a company that was a cleaning supply company that distributed a range of products. And one of those products happened to be masks. So timing. So in that business, obviously with lockdown, I couldn't continue Welcome to Hell. So I stayed on board that business as a consultant, and I revolutionized that business. They hadn't seen a B2B order over $1,000. And I started bringing in $60,000 orders, $70,000, $120,000 orders, $500,000 orders. And then the biggest order I brought in was $18 million.
Wow.
That business had never made over $1 million in a year.
So pretty sick, man.
Yeah. So in 2 years at that business, myself, Ben, and a few other people, we scaled that company and we turned over 70 million during COVID. Wow. While everyone was in hysterica, fighting over fucking toilet paper.
Yeah.
We just got to work.
You were shipping it and selling it to them.
We were just just having fun, having fun. We saw an opportunity and we capitalized on it. No emotions, no bullshit, straight into work. Capitalize on a market in distress. That's another bit of alpha I'll share is when everyone subtracts in the market, that's the time to go hard.
Yeah.
That's the time to go hard. That's the time when you double down. That's when real wealth is made.
Right. Very cool, man. I mean, I hear you, and it seems like the timing with the lockdowns just so happened that you had obviously more attention, no longer doing Welcome to Hell. But then clearly your standards and your way of going about things elevated it, like you said, 60,000, 70,000, 120,000, $18 million order. Like these are big numbers, life-changing numbers in a lot of ways for friends, families, yourself. I know you've got a massive vision. I believe you're still there, right?
No, so we ended up, great question. So we pushed for equity in that business. We weren't able to get equity in that business. So we then, with every bit of money that we had earned from there being paid out, we then dipped it all in, every single cent, into a new company. And in the first year, we went from 0 to 12 million.
Wow.
And the second year, we went from 12 million to about 30 million. And then the rest is history.
Love that. So you all left?
We all left.
And now you're doing what you're doing now?
Yeah.
Brilliant. What's the importance of having that control, do you feel? Like having some equity, some skin in the game, beyond just the dollar amount, because clearly you can make money. And like you said before, it's not about the dollars. It's not about the numbers. Focus on the help, being of value,
Yeah.
which you clearly are a person of value.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. So if you want to create any sort of impact, you need money.
For sure.
But you can't focus on the money. But, like there's so many people, especially nowadays, everyone wants to be, far left activists and go and preach and scream and chant stuff, but you're not going to do shit. If you want to make real impacts, you want to go and affect the lives of children, all that kind of stuff, go and create a business. Go and generate money. Go and build skills. The real people out there that are actually creating change and impact they're not on fucking Instagram sharing posts for attention and all this bullshit and acting like they're on the next fad.
A black square.
Yeah. We've seen it, like they go out there, they create a business, they create actual impact, they create employment opportunities for people. And with that, they go and give back to the community. We saw an amazing amount of success. The first thing we did was we developed a veterans program. The second thing we did was we donated $42,000 to the Starlight Children's Foundation. That's not in any of my marketing as a main thing because it wasn't about that. It wasn't like a marketing tactic.
Sure.
It was about there was a bunch of kids sitting in a hospital with a blue mask on, and we wanted to bring something that was bright yellow with rocket ships that just brought the fun back into life during COVID. So it's how you approach things. It's what you do with that impact and the money that you make that creates a difference.
Very cool. It seems to me that the work that you've put in over a long period of time, even before leaving the railway and the safety work that you were doing, is now compounding. But I know, like, we're recording on a Saturday, and you told me before we started recording that, you've got a dinner tonight, and then after that you're going back into the office. I'll often see your Instagram story late at night closing up. I know we're going to come to talk about personal brand and why you've reappeared on socials. You're posting a lot of really cool content on there, pieces to camera. But it seems like it's compounding in a way that's brilliant. But I have no doubt it's just the beginning.
I always say we're just getting started. We're just getting started. So there's a lot of things happening. I don't take my foot off the pedal. I think what people do is they get a little bit of success and they start to celebrate. They're like, yeah, I've made it. I've made it. This is probably the part that people don't speak about with entrepreneurship. It's very difficult. When you scale a company from 0 to 30 million and you hire, 25 staff, every single month you have an operational expense. Every single month you start from 0. You have to do what you've done again and again and again and again. Because if you don't, it doesn't compound. And you're not the only one that suffers from that. These are the pressures. People don't talk about it. So when people start out their entrepreneurial journey, they're like, I want to make $1 million. You make $1 million.
What about the next million? Eh?
Correct.
Yeah.
And this is the difficult thing. So I try and show that real authentic side of things, of the journey, so people can say, oh, I see Dylan, he's in Dubai, he's driving Lambos, he's got the Rolex on, he's having fun, like I see all this stuff, but man, 1 week later he's back in Melbourne every single night. He's at the office. Because I want to show people that if you want to live that lifestyle, you want to have fun, you want to indulge in the luxury things in life, comes with a price, and that price is work. It's not this laptop lifestyle that people think where you just open up your laptop, do a few things, and you shut your laptop and, I'm
always
killing
wonderful.
it. Yeah, it's difficult. It's stressful. And it compounds. The more you do, it compounds the stress. I laugh about it with my friends, but we joke about it, but sometimes you just come home and you're just like, fuck. If I could go back and be an employee, I'd be the best. Yeah. I'd have no stress at all.
You probably wouldn't last very long, because you'd be pouring so much into it that you'd be elevated.
Yeah, well, that's why. Like for me, as I go through my journey, I always want to keep that reality check. So funny you say that. I went back to the military.
When was this?
Last year,
Wow.
I went back to the military, yeah.
In what capacity?
Reserves.
Really?
I went back to Kapuka, back to basic training for the second time
Wow.
because I just wanted to see if I was humble enough to follow orders, if I could go into a room full of strangers and not let my ego get the better of me, whether all this success that I've achieved over the last few years has changed me as an individual.
And?
I killed it. I had fun. Got my head shaved, got my ass kicked. It's changed a lot. It's a lot left field now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like it's probably changed. I've never been, but
Yeah.
I've seen some of the things
It's
that
a
have come
lot
out
nicer.
of the US.
Yeah, it's very, very different, but it was a very, very good experience. A very, very good experience for me to go back and do that. So I walked away. I got an award. I got recognized as one of the people that went above and beyond throughout the course and got a nice little plaque at the end of it. So it was cool to kind of walk away and know that I haven't changed as an individual because of my success. And that even though I've done something before, I can go back and still be a student of the game. And then I try and teach people that you need to find things, you need to constantly get outside your comfort zone, you need to always be that student of the game. Because if you think you know everything, that's when you start to die.
Yeah. Where do you think that came from for you in terms of the relentless energy to constantly improve? We spoke about it last time, how you often read, and I want to come to talking about the routine that you have and also personal brand, which I feel like it all fits in. But yeah, how and where do you feel that relentless drive comes from, especially considering that you have had success? And like you've already mentioned, when people taste a little bit of that, they can tend to get slack and maybe they don't pick up the fucking paper in the bathroom or they don't do a number of different things that, Andy Frisella talks about this. You have these fucking high standards. The whole company, your group, your circle has that. How do you maintain that? And where do you think it comes from?
It's an interesting question. I feel as though I've evolved over the years. So different parts of my life have had different priorities. So my motivations have shifted a little bit depending on what stage. If you've ever heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yep.
Yeah, so I feel like I've gone through this pendulum a few times where I've gone up, and because I haven't focused on relationships, I've been brought back down, or, I'll go through different stages depending on where I'm at in life. But if I look at the overall motivation for being the best version of myself, I think back to really my childhood. And again, this ties back into my personal brand, but when I put on there coming from Housing Commission and I talk about that, not many people understand what that is really actually like. They don't understand it. Like, you can say that, I'm from Housing Commission, I lived in government housing. And then the sentence kind of stops there. I watched a really interesting documentary on Netflix by 1-4. They're a rap group from Mount Druitt, and they document it very well. When you grow up in an area like that, in an environment where there's drugs, violence, and everything else, your perspective shifts a lot. You don't grow up as a kid. You don't get to have a childhood. When I think back, I was taking drugs to my next door neighbors at the age of 10. And it was just my mom. She's like, go and take this down there. And you jump on your bike, you'd ride down, you'd give the drugs, and you just see a whole different side of life. And I think back and I go, shit, I remember the moments where I was that kid that I'd start high school and my mum would have to go to the school and be like, hey, can we get clothes for him? And then they'd be going through the lost and found, and they'd be like, this one's a little bit ripped, but we can give it to him. That's the best. So when you grow up like that, you don't want to ever put your kids through that because it's embarrassing from a young age. When you're waiting for the bus and you get on the bus and you're with the junkie parents, you're a kid, you're very conscious of those things. When you go to the shops and you see the kids that have money and then you don't have money, and you can see them. You know the difference. When you grow up around people that are constantly in and out of jail, the conversations are very different. You see a whole entire different side of life. So when I think about my motivations on why I want to be the best version of me, it's because I don't want anyone in my family to ever go through that again. Ever. And why I'm restarting my personal brand is because I want to show kids from that area that you don't have to go down that pathway of drugs and alcohol. You can still turn out successful in business.
Brilliant, bro. Well done.
Thanks.
I don't know, it's just getting started.
Yeah.
We're just getting started. How do you then, when you close an $18 million deal, keep that foot on the gas? Because I feel like it would be fairly common, almost expected to go, fuck yeah. Like, and there's probably an element of that. I'm trying to imagine myself as a fly on the wall in your office.
Yeah, it was like Wolf of Wall Street. It's like you fucking see it load and you're just like...
Like, how long does that last? Because I'm sure it's not lasting a week and it's probably not lasting into the next day, knowing you from the little that I do know you. But in those moments, when you have the big wins, where does that, energy go? And then where does that go the next day? Like, I'm sure you're not letting up.
It's the mindset, bro. That's why I keep saying it's not about the money. 18 million is fucking very cool. But like you said, it's gone. It's an emotion. Who'd you do it with? What was that feeling like? It's that hunt. It's that hunt for greatness. Look at Michael Jordan, LeBron, all these amazing athletes. They're not doing it for just the championship. They're doing it because it's the process of the championship. It's like a lion. A lion's not born this fierce apex predator. It's in the process of hunting that it becomes the animal that it is feared. So it's the same thing for me. Yes, the wins are fantastic. And I'm beyond grateful for everything that I've received. But it's in the process of achieving that I'm addicted. And it's when you win, you go, what's next? What's that next big thing? And for me, it's about living a life on understanding what's my max, what's my breaking point. Just after the army, actually no, just before the army, before I went away, I did my first ultra marathon.
Oh yeah,
150 Ks.
Wow.
Before that, the furthest I'd ran was 21.
Wow.
I started with 1 month preparation.
Oh, bro, that would have cooked you. How'd you go?
I completed it. And I proved so many people wrong.
Yeah.
So many people wrong. 1 month out, I started running 15 Ks a day.
Wow. Why take on something like that?
I just wanted to see. What if? That's what it's all about. Life is short. You got to find things. People stay in their comfort zones. You got to get outside of your fucking comfort zone. Move away from your hometown. Do shit that pushes you. Because once you start seeing what's possible, it's the reality of how far can I actually fucking take this? How far can I take this? I rocked up to the athletics track. It was on an athletics track. 48 hours as far as you can run. Every 2 hours, you change directions. I rocked up with my army backpack and a duffel bag with a change of shoes. They're like, hey, Dill, you're going to be over there. When you set up, go to the tailwind stand. And I was like, is that like the masseuse person that rubs us down? They're like, do you not know what tailwind is? I'm like, I have no clue what that is. Dill, have you ran a marathon before? Nope. Oh, shit. People had like full pit stops. Like it was like a F1 track, running in, changing shoes, massage feet.
I've seen them. I've had mates who have run them and been down there. Yeah, wow. So you locked up on your own, no support group.
I had a friend of mine who's just Yeah. What you put out to the universe, you get back. I've met some people that just really push the needle of the mind. And he was like, I'm signing you up. I'm like, Clint, I'm not a fucking runner, bro. I don't run. Like, I'm in the gym. Let's do it. So I did it. And the first 100 Ks, I was, how can I make this tougher? So listen to some David Goggins. And I'm like, let's not listen to music for the first 100 Ks. That'll be my reward. Once I hit 100 Ks, I'll put in some music and we'll kick on.
Do you listen to anything? Did you listen to podcasts or Goggins?
When I got to, so I didn't listen to, no headphones, no nothing at all.
Wow.
For the first 100 Ks. When I got to 100, I put in like this motivational blend of David Goggins.
Yeah. Like Kira the Don or something? Have you heard of him?
Pumping. No, I haven't heard of him.
It's like music riffed with, inspirational speeches.
I was pumped. It was the best.
Fuck yeah.
And then the adrenaline like faded off very quick. So, yeah.
Dude, that's huge.
Yeah.
150 Ks in any amount of time.
Yeah.
It's maybe not a year.
That's why you asked me, what's the last 1,000 days been like?
Yeah.
To summarize it, it's been a movie.
Mm.
It's been a movie. Life's good. Life's challenging. Life's very difficult. Don't get me wrong. But it's good. But it's getting better because I'm putting myself out there.
Mm.
And I haven't let go of the little things. And why I say the little things matter and why everything's so divine in this universe is the moment that we started that new company, every little bit of self-development that I ever did prior to that point, it was like the compounding effect of that opportunity.
Yeah.
And I got my shot. I knew exactly what the fuck to do.
Right.
That's how you go from 0 to 12 million in 1 year.
It's almost like you just got to stay in the game. And then all of your preparation, you will get a chance if you're the real fucking deal. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's that, but the preparation also gives you the education and the foresight to identify the opportunity.
Yes.
And when that opportunity comes, it's implement. You know exactly what to do.
Mm.
And that's when you look up, you're like, I fucking knew it.
Very cool, dude.
Yeah.
Going back into the reserves, and in that period, what was the key thing that you took from that? Key learning.
Intimacy in my relationships.
Really?
Mm.
How so?
Very focused on business. Very, very focused on business.
Are you still with Sarah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very, very focused on business. But during that journey, when you sit in a room with 3 other people that don't really know what you've achieved and the accliments that you've gone to in business, you give them a little bit of insight, but you don't really like kind of share the real true extent. Seeing how they were with their family and friends, I didn't have that.
Mm.
Because everything that I focused on in life was just about business, was about compounding, was about me, because I had to become the best version of myself to get to where I was. And that's when I speak about Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Mm.
I was growing, but because I missed that relationship aspect, I didn't have that part of my life figured out. So that was a really good part of me going through that journey, was to be able to go back and say, hey, look, how do I be more present in my relationships? How do I be more present with my friends? How do I give them a level of intimacy that they deserve, rather than it just feel like it's transactional? So that was probably my biggest lesson. I've handled weapons. I've done all that kind of stuff before. So I've led teams. Probably going back, I'd say second biggest lesson was going from like a CEO or a director, whatever you want to call it, back down to a digger or just a recruit. yeah, that was very difficult, especially when I didn't agree with what people were saying, but I didn't want to undermine them. So you support where you can and you go through. So that's probably like my second one. It's just having that humility to shut the fuck up. Don't speak. You know better. You're here to learn. You're not here to lead. So just do what you're fucking told.
It's interesting and really enlightening to hear you talk about that and almost very much being part of a team. And I'm sure that would translate into being a great leader now, even though you'd done it, you know, when you were, I think you were one of the youngest ever at the time.
Corrections.
Yeah. Oh, that was in the corrections. Sorry, not in the reserves. But I remember that, even that, in a sense of like responsibility on you, youngest ever corrections guard in a prison. Was that in Australia or Victoria?
From Australia. I don't know if it's changed since then, but I haven't heard of anyone younger than me. I was 19 when I walked on the floor. So
right. So all of that. I mean, you go back to that. You know, what was it? 8 years ago. You're putting in that work over a period of time. So that clearly then is able to translate into having the authority to go, no, we reverse park in, which to some people probably sounds crazy, but like you explained, and I never really thought about it all that much, but yeah, if, you know, you have to evacuate a building quickly or, you know, everyone has to get in their car, whatever it is, but, you know, you need to drive nose out first, straight out.
People, yeah, and I have this conversation because I actually had the conversation with my staff members this week. She's like, Dill, you fucking do my head in because you care so much about these small things. When you look at the bigger picture and go, how does this represent me? How does this represent the team? How do we look as a holistic whole? You remove I from the situation. I fucking do it too. It's much easier for me just to drive in forward, but it's about how am I seen with my team? When someone comes, and it's that philosophy on every little bit of aspect. Coming to work on time. I get my shit done. Okay, fantastic. What about the person who's at work that, you know, sees you coming in on time and then you inspire them to come on time? The way you dress, you inspire them. I had a guy who started working with me. Started 1 week dressing really good, and then I watched it start to fade. And I was like, what the fuck's going on, bro? He's like, well, I saw the boys in the warehouse. And I was like, great. And? He's like, oh, I just thought it was a standard. I was like, so do you want to raise the standard? Do you want to bring the young boys up to where you are and say, hey, this is actually how you come to work dressed. You dress like you're serious. Lift people up in everything you do. Have a philosophy that it's bigger than you. If you do that and you take away the selfishness of your actions and you think about how your actions have an impact on other people, your life will change very, very quickly. You might be misunderstood.
Yeah.
Fuck, I've been misunderstood my whole entire life, which is why I am where I am, because I'm not following the traditional paths that most people take.
Yeah, you're not trying to fit into the norm.
No, I'm trying to break the fucking norm.
It's good. Your routine every day, you have 5 things that you do, and it's interesting that 75 Hard has the power list of 5 tasks you have to get done every day. What do you do to start every day?
My day has evolved as I've kind of evolved. For a long time, I didn't check my phone. And if you're starting out on your entrepreneurial journey or you want to level up as an individual, I would recommend not touching your phone. You need to remove every external influence to you as early and as quickly as possible. If you wake up and you see a bad message, you're in a shit mood, that fucks your whole entire day. Because then it's the compound effect of that. So I don't want to mislead people with the routine that I'm doing now, because I'm at a different stage of life compared to most people and I have different responsibilities and obligations. So I need to make that very, very clear.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
The start of my day, I wake up, I check my WhatsApp. The reason why I check my WhatsApp is because I have international businesses. So I want to make sure that nothing catastrophic has happened or things are waiting for me that I need to attend to immediately. Once I've done that, I then I get out of bed, I go straight to the kitchen, I make myself a pre-workout fat burner every single morning without fail. I then do professional sales training or professional development. Once I finish that, I then listen to a podcast while I have my cold shower. And I do that every single morning. And then I go and read my book or I do my Arabic. So I do a language now.
Learning Arabic at the moment.
I've been learning Arabic for quite some time, but yeah, I do learn. I try and do like 5 to 10 minutes a day.
Just on that, I thought about learning Arabic a few years ago because so many people speak it. Why have you chosen to learn Arabic?
One, it trips people the fuck out.
This white guy can speak Arabic.
When I walk into a room, I've obviously got business partners. So I've got business partners, one's Lebanese, one's Palestinian, and one's Turkish. So very multicultural, very diverse. And through just business in general, I've done a lot with people from the Middle East, having my entities structured in Dubai as well. We'll go into that another time. But
sure.
With that, I wanted to have a baseline. Being able to just have a baseline of Arabic and speak what I can speak, people fucking respect it. They respect it a lot, especially in business.
Very cool, dude.
So I would encourage, you go anywhere in Europe, people speak like 2 to 3 languages.
Yeah.
Australia, we're so naive. We're so sheltered.
Yeah.
People are arrogant. Fucking learn another language. Yeah, it will open up a lot of doors for you, especially in business. Yeah, if you're going to learn a language, either learn Mandarin or Arabic, one of the two.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's your routine every day. But like you said, that's how you do it now. It maybe wasn't what you did. I mean, I love the piece of not checking the phone.
Yeah.
When I started 75 Hard, I took the phone out of the room, charged it in another room overnight, alarm clock, other side of the room. When that thing goes off, you got to get out of bed to turn it off, and then you're out of bed.
Yeah, so for me, it's just you need to set non-negotiables in life. As you develop, as you grow, your non-negotiables will change. They'll change because your life changes. What I think is important is to not let them slip. I used to be religiously in the gym. Now, I have different priorities. I'm still in good shape, don't get me wrong. I still outperform most people, but I'm not first thing in the morning in the gym, smashing the gym every single day. I train like 3 times a week now. I started doing a bit of jiu-jitsu and stuff as well. You need to find something that works for you. There's no, this is the secret recipe. As long as you've got a fucking routine, you've got things that you're committing to, and they are things that, when I say commit, I mean commit with your heart. You wake up, you just fucking do it. Just get it done. It's not this bullshit of, I'm not fucking feeling this. I did it yesterday. That's okay. I'm doing better than what I did last week. I fucking hate that mindset. Hate that mindset. No one gives a fuck about what you did yesterday. Just fucking, what'd you do today? You can't pay today's bills with yesterday's effort. People need to realize that. And you need to push to get results. So pick things in your routine that are going to push you closer to where you want to go, because the fucking harsh reality is you're not going to pay your bills with effort. If you're not picking, someone goes, okay, I read a book every day. Okay, what fucking book are you reading? Oh, I'm reading this book on leadership. Why? What part of that book on leadership are you seeking to get better at? People just fucking pick things because they go, oh my God, I'm now disciplined because I read a book every day. There's no thought put behind it. They're just doing it for the sake of doing it. And these are the same motherfuckers that will just do this shit over and over and over again and actually never implement any of it. They'll just fucking read for the sake of reading. To say that I have a strict routine.
Yeah.
I'm regimented. I'm disciplined.
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like, you've progressed to this routine now, which obviously works for you. I think you said it well in that you've got to find the things that do work for you, but not doing things ultimately is like a mental masturbation. Like you're filling it for
100%.
You're filling your day with things that won't move the needle. And I don't know if are you on Twitter at all?
I was through a bit, and then Web3 fucking wrecked me.
Okay. Well, like I'm in this corner of Twitter where there's a term called Huberman types, which I love, and it's the over optimizers. The people who want to get up and they have to do a 2-3 hour workout routine or even just morning routine before their day can actually begin. And yeah, it's fucking stupid. It's retarded because you just need to get up and get into work. Like you said, I went for a period of not checking my phone, but then it's like, okay, well, I shouldn't be scrolling fucking Instagram at 5 a.m. when you wake up or whenever you wake up. But if you need to communicate and use your phone as a tool or use social media as a tool, whatever that looks like for you, then do that. It doesn't really matter what time of the day, blue blocking light and all of these things. Sure, they probably help. But if you're doing it in a way that negates actually moving the needle and actually getting things done, then that is just mental masturbation. You're not going to make any progress. I think that's important to highlight.
And that's where I think social media clouds, especially younger people coming into the space, self-development isn't the key itself. Self-development. People are just looking for that next thing, the fucking secret. They're just trying to, oh my God, if I read this fucking book or if I do this podcast, something's going to fucking happen. Nothing is going to happen in your life unless you fucking do shit. So if your morning routine goes for fucking 3 hours, I don't know what the fuck you're doing, but I know a lot of people, 200 million plus, 300 million plus, 1 billion plus, and their morning routine lasts 15, 20 minutes. Because it's the small things consistently that push the fucking needle. There's no point reading a book for the sake of reading a fucking book. Why are you learning what you're learning? How do you implement it? Why are you listening to what you're listening? I could say I listen to podcasts every fucking day. Are you taking notes? What are you doing? I could listen to 5 minutes of a podcast and get more value from 5 minutes of podcast taking notes than someone listening to it for an hour. Just in the background while they're doing their morning routine. Are you being effective with what the fuck you're doing? And that's why I say, you said it perfect, mental masturbation. Everyone wants to be seen like progressing and doing things, but let's look at the fucking 1,000 days. What the fuck have you done? Nothing. You're the same person posting the same fucking shit. Posting quotes on Instagram is not going to change your bank account. Reading a fucking book is not going to change your bank account. Listening to a podcast is not going to change your bank account. Doing those things, taking notes, being deliberate, and implementing a fucking plan will not only change your bank account, but your fucking life. So your morning routine, if you don't have one, don't just go and fucking implement this fucking 12, 15, 100 step fucking process that you almost need to have a sleep by the end of it. Do your fucking shit, but have like a core intention of what you're trying to get out of it. That's why I love 75 Hard. Because there's an intention. There's a focus. There's a reason why you're doing it.
Well said, man. How much do you think that shifted things for you? I know we spoke about it the last time, but you mentioned it, and my housemate at the time, one of my best mates, Sam Knott, he had mentioned Andy Frisella to me, but I'd never really given it the time of day because I was someone who, having played soccer for a lot of my life, relatively fit, always just like naturally good runner, but some of these things had come pretty naturally to me, as I say, but I didn't understand the program, obviously. And I do now, having done Live Hard, like game changing, ultimately. And I know people who we'd laugh about it, but haven't even completed the program, but have done like 50 odd days. And then for, in some cases, some pretty intense reasons, have had to stop. But even that has shifted things for them. But if you can get through that 75 days and you can do those 3 phases of Live Hard, another 90 days in that 3 or in that 1 year span of time, your life will change. So I'm almost certain that you have done Live Hard, probably 75 Hard multiple times. But for you, what was the shift there? And you're now doing this morning routine. So almost like a 2-part question, and maybe it's answered with the 75 Hard, because I'm curious to know what you think people should do. Maybe they shouldn't start learning Arabic or another language. Maybe something should be as simple as a quick few things, 15, 20 minutes, and then get into your day. But where should people start so that they can move the needle? Is it as simple as 75 Hard?
75 Hard is a great program. Very, very good program. I don't want to upset anyone.
Who don't you want to upset? I want to know who you don't want to upset.
Look, the thing about it is, the biggest issue is, even if people look at 75 Hard, they're looking at for 75 days. That's the fucking biggest issue. So before people even look at these programs, their mind's fucked.
Right.
They're fucked.
They've got that date on the calendar of when they'll complete. And
That's
let's
it.
have a fucking chocolate cake.
They're tapped out. They're already thinking about what they're going to do when they're done.
Yeah.
That's why I tattooed this on me.
So true.
It wasn't I did this shit before the program even come about.
Yeah.
It's a way of life, and why 75 is so hard is because, like I said, there's an intention. You're waking up, you've got things mapped out for you. You're moving the fucking needle every day. You're tracking your progress. There's accountability. And unfortunately, in society, the way that we teach people to be a slave. And we'll go into the education system and all that stuff and how that's all brought out, but people aren't put through the education system to think for themselves. They're put through it to be factory workers. They're put through it to do what they're told.
Cogs in the machine.
Yeah, correct. So I can recommend a million different things for a morning routine. But if your mindset is already, I'm going to do this for this period of time, and then default, you need more than a morning routine to fucking fix you.
You need to completely shift that mindset and have new defaults.
You probably, to be honest, you probably need a shitload of fucking adversity. Because it's not until people go through some fucked up shit in life that they go, I need to fucking get control. I need to take control. So it's either you just stay in the washing machine going through the bullshit, or you have some fucking horrible things happen to you for the better of you.
Yeah, it's almost like a rock bottom moment in a sense is needed. Not necessarily that you have to. I mean, you spoke before about the way in which you were raised and the things you had to deal with. And that gives you your drive. I've spoken about it on this podcast a few times. Last few years that we had were quite hectic for many reasons. I've spoken about being pepper sprayed at a lockdown protest and then wondering, well, I thought that was a good thing that I'm protesting lockdowns and trying to help my fellow Melburnians, Australians. And then it clicked for me. It was, no, motherfucker, you need to become undeniably great at what you do. Going to a protest for a few hours, even if you have brilliant conversations with police, which didn't happen for me, unfortunately. I got pepper sprayed along with a few other people. But not that we need to necessarily go into that, but it was a thing that sort of shifted for me. And there was a few months there where I was like trying to work out what the fuck to do because I didn't agree with all that went on at that time. But I realized that it has to start with me. I have to raise the bar. I have to do these things. in my life and be a person that people look to from my example. Not necessarily the words that I'm saying. I realize that's the whole point of a podcast in a sense is we're speaking, but like, okay, what are the actions? Am I upping the level, the quality of this production? Am I, as a human, better, showing up to relationships better, being a better athlete, doing all of these things? And that's when it really changed for me. And unfortunately, it took me about a month and a half to start 75 Hard, but it's been a lot better since. I say unfortunately, somewhat tongue in cheek, but
yeah. But there was
I
a
really
realization.
start to look at it. Yeah.
You have to go through that realization. And back to that point, it kind of taps into what I was saying earlier. If you want to fucking create change, being at a fucking protest, sharing shit on social media, you are genuinely naive if you fucking think that's going to change the world. We've got a lot of shit going on. If you want to fucking go and make a difference, I'd love to just go down to some of these places and just be like, okay, if you're so disturbed by what's happening, what are you doing to actually change it? Because I know me, when there was a fucking bomb in Beirut that went off, I sent stock. I wasn't on social media. I wasn't trying to make people feel bad for not having a voice. I fucking did something. So, if you want to fucking go and change the world, have a purpose. Fucking amazing. Have a purpose. But get yourself strong so you can actually put some substance behind that purpose. Go and build a fucking school. Go and do shit. Go and donate aid. If you really are disturbed by all these things happening, go on actually fucking do something. Go and start a foundation. Don't share a fucking social media post. Because in the next 6 months, you're not going to give a fuck. You're not going to post about it. You're not going to talk about it.
Or there'll be something new in the media cycle.
People like to think that, again, I'm very, I'd say nearly far right in my views, but people think that they're entitled to an opinion. But the reality is that most people have no education behind their opinion. Most people have never done shit in their life. So their opinion means nothing. And that's never going to change unless they change. People like to think that they're a fucking expert on things because they saw it on TikTok or fucking Instagram. They know nothing. Go and become a strong individual and push change. Go and dedicate yourself to 1,000+ hours of research on a topic before you open your fucking mouth and spread propaganda. Understand what you're actually talking about. Understand what you're talking about. And if you don't fucking like the things that are happening, fucking move. I didn't like what happened with COVID with the fucking protests. But I chose, instead of fucking being loud on social media, to fucking start a business. And guess what now? Because I see where Australia's going and we're becoming more communist, I'm now creating opportunities for me to have pathways elsewhere overseas. Because I see where things are going. I'm not naive to that. But me stamping my feet and saying, you can't fucking do this, it's not going to carry any weight or substance.
Right. Unless you maybe decide to dedicate your life. Yeah, there's so many ways that could be. But yeah. I agree, man. I agree. And I'm sure there would be people listening to this who agree, resonates with. And I'm sure there'll be people who are listening to this who are like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And hopefully they're still listening, because I think it's a very valuable trait in a human to be able to have new information, take that on, hold it, play with it, think with it, change your mind.
I'm unapologetic when it comes to views like that, because I speak from experience. Otherwise, I wouldn't be where I am doing what I'm doing. If you want to be an advocate for something, dedicate yourself to it. Don't just jump behind fucking social media and the bandwagon. But we'll talk about this.
man,
we get me started on this, I'll start fucking roasting people.
Maybe when we press stop on this thing, we can come back to that. I mean, you mentioned social media and you've reappeared on socials.
Yeah.
You're pouring a lot of energy and yourself onto content.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned before wanting to, show people from your youth and the way you grew up that you can achieve success without drugs, alcohol, or even just live life without those things. Could you unpack more of that, what you're hoping to build with your personal brand in that sense, and why you're doing these videos, these pieces of cameras, and what the vision is?
Yeah, so for those who don't know, I grew a Instagram account to over 17,000 followers that documented interesting times of my life, probably a lot of my bodybuilding stuff and construction, even a little bit of my corrections time. I started to document a fair bit during the come up of the company. And I got to a point where I wanted to evolve. Everyone that I knew who I was, not who I am. And as we grow and we develop, we become bigger and our identities change. So constantly seeing an Instagram filled with people that hadn't seen the new Dylan, the 2.0, so to speak, it was constantly dragging me back down and putting me into the constraints of that identity. So for me, I wanted to just wipe the slate clean. I wanted to be born again, so to speak, and and look, this is not just social media, this is everything. When I went incognito, I went incognito from a lot of different things, music included. I went on a detox from music because music itself is so influential. I got rid of everything rap because for me, growing up where I grew up, it's very easy to default and allow that to become your identity. When you let your emotions get the better of you. Suddenly you're looking at someone in business and you're like, motherfucker, I want to slap you. But you can't. You have to be well articulated. I wanted to become this well articulated young gentleman that was well spoken, that had a good vision, that was able to inspire. So I wiped everything clean and started from scratch across the board. I detoxed everything, went completely dark, pushed the absolute needle in business. In fact, while I was in incognito, I started 3 other companies.
Oh.
Push that out. And then now I'm slowly starting to roll out the vision. And like I spoke about before, the vision for me is, it's not about being social media famous and having a strong personal brand. I want to have an impactful personal brand. That people look at his content, or my content, and they go, this guy's good. I'm firm on my beliefs, but in the same tone, people can see where I've come from and they can go, he's nothing special. If he can do it, I can do it. Because I'm not special. I'm not tertiary educated. Definitely not tertiary educated. I learned a lot of my stuff in business from the streets. That compounded into learning how to become a hustler. I was a hustler well and truly before I was a businessman, so to speak. And it's only now that I've devoted myself to constantly refining my craft that I've become who I am now. So it's about putting that together in a story through content. Also, roasting people taking advantage of others out there.
Yeah.
All these fucking influencers selling courses and all this bullshit. Getting young kids to put in thousands and thousands of dollars to have this dream of escaping the rat race. Stay in the rat race. Learn. Learn everything you can. Build yourself up so when your opportunity arises and it presents itself, you're able to capitalize on it. People ask me all the time, Dill, when's the best time should I leave my job? I was like, you're not really thinking of like an entrepreneur, are you? If you're already thinking about when can I quit this to then do this? How much does it cost you to hire someone to do what you would do in that business? People go, okay, so if you can have a business instead of you leaving your job, you've now got security. You then hire someone else to work in your business for you while you still make profit, and they grow your business every single day. When they make mistakes, you just sack them and get the next person in to do the job better.
Mm-hmm.
That business then grows and then grows and then grows until you're ready. Because what can you learn in this business? Yes, you'll learn a lot in your own business, but you'll also learn a lot from working in established businesses as well.
Mm.
So soak up as much as you can. Play it strategic. It might actually be cheaper for you to hire someone else to do what you're going to do in that business anyway. And guess what? If you hire someone who's already been there and done it, that business will grow 10 times faster. You going from employee to self-employed is just ego.
Well put.
So it's about changing the perspective on things, opening up the horizons, changing the vision. Otherwise you get trapped and just jumping across.
I like it.
So it kind of like derailed a little bit from the initial question of the personal brand, but that's the overall image. Is about showing people where I come from and connecting it, because we see a lot of people in the entrepreneurial space, in the self-development space, they show the glitz and the glamours. They don't show what it's like growing up in a fibro house. They don't show what it's like having hand-me-down clothes, having breakfast at school, in the school's foundation because you don't have fucking food at home. They don't show what it's like growing up around prostitution, drugs, all that other shit. So I wanted to be the first from Australia to bring this out and show people that there's this side of society in Australia, and there's probably a lot more of people here. And the only influence that these people are seeing are the people going in and out of jail or just staying stuck in the cycle. So if I can show them, hey, I'm from here and I'm here now, and this is the vision, and this is a pathway, don't get distracted, work hard, then they can make a change.
Love it, man. I can see that you're doing it. I can see that it's just the beginning as well. There's a lot more to come. In terms of the companies that you have, what is the longer term vision? I know that last time we spoke, Welcome to Hell was at the forefront of that. And as for reasons that we've spoken about, no longer directly doing that. Is that something you're hoping to bring back in some format? And what does the vision look like across all of your companies? Like, what are you working towards, whether that's 1 year, 5 year, 10, 20, 50?
It's a very, very hard question to articulate the one sentence, because each business has its own pathway.
Sure.
So if I talk about my main business, my goal is, and we can put a pen on paper, I already know it's going to happen anyway. I'll scale and exit at 100 mil in that company, and then I'll do the same thing with the other businesses. For Welcome to Hell, that's going to be my passion project. That's my good deed in this earth. To leave things better than I found it. That will come. When I bring it back, I want to bring it back with a lot more funding and resources, and the level of impact that I would like to bring through that business. Although I do think the course was initially life-changing, knowing what I know now, I know that I'll be able to create something special. So, yeah, that will come back at the right time.
Yeah. Very cool. I realize you may not be able to share all or want to, and obviously you've got a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
So like you said, maybe hard to put into a sentence or two, but maybe I can shift the question in that the vision you have for your life in, say, 27 years. You're 27, right?
Mm-hmm. 27.
So say when you're 54, another 27 years, what is the sort of life that you want to be living and the opportunities that you want to be able to capitalize on through the preparation that you will be doing between now and then, through the work, through the daily micro habits? What's that life look like? If you could paint that picture.
Such an interesting question. So hard to answer as well, because I don't really map out life that far, to be completely honest with you.
Okay. Do you want to know why I asked that?
Yeah, I'm very, very interested to ask.
Because I see that what we spoke about 4 years ago has come to fruition. And so what I try to do in these conversations with people,
Mm-hmm.
in all walks of life, high performers, everyday people, wherever people fall on that spectrum, is like, okay, no one wakes up in the morning wanting to have a shit day or not wanting to, achieve certain things
Mm-hmm.
in what they have planned for that day. They want things to go right,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't happen for everyone. Why? Well, there's probably multiple reasons for that, which, people can come to their own conclusions based on this conversation and based on others and based on their own lived experiences. But I know that from talking to you 4 years ago, seeing a bit of what you've done, and obviously in this conversation that we're now having, what you want to achieve is going to happen. So it's okay. What is that? What does it look like? And then all of these things that you're now doing. And like I said, you spoke about Andy Frisella in 2019. It wasn't until 2021 that I got on the fucking train.
Mm.
And so, as selfish as it is, I have to ask from that place of curiosity, because I'm not trying to find something cool for someone listening. I'm trying to find the bit for me right now in this conversation, because there's a chance that none of this fucking even goes out to the world. So I have to. So that's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
So whether you want to go in 27 years time or like however the way you want to answer it, I'm just curious, because I would like to have you on again, whether it's in another 4 years time or whenever it is, or even if we just have, more conversations in the future. And it's like, okay, yeah, cool. This motherfucker's doing X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And I say motherfucker with all due respect.
No, I appreciate it.
Motherfucker.
So
but that's why I ask.
And there's so many facets to it. It's not just, what does my life look like in 27 years, or what does my life look like in 10? To be quite real with you, I'm in a position where I knew that I would do a lot in life, but I'd never think I'd do what I've done.
Okay.
To be quite real with you.
So you've surpassed that already, do you feel?
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like being listed top 100 young entrepreneurs in Australia twice, scaling a company from 0 to 30 mil, multiple businesses now above six figures. My life is pretty fucking surreal. If you had to ask me, even as a kid, I would have been like, I just want to make $100,000 a year, man. I want to be the best version of me. For me, I don't get fixated on so much targets. It's more like the life. So if you ask me who I want to be in 54 years, I want to be a person who's genuine. A person who is still where he is in life with integrity. A person that still shows up every single day and does the small things. A person that gives life everything that he's got. that's always looking for that opportunity to get better, that's still a student. Because having that philosophy and mindset is what got me here. I can talk like I'm going to be a billionaire, no fucking doubt. But I'm not focused on the monetary aspect of becoming a billionaire. It's what happens in the process of becoming a billionaire. Whether I go build schools in Africa, whether I roll out a private curriculum for education to teach younger kids, whether I bring traditional medicine into new pathways in Australia like what I'm trying to do right now. There's a lot of different things that can change the direction, but my focus is on who am I as an individual when I reach that point in my life.
Mm.
Because I can reach any target that I set, but if I lose who I am in that journey, have I really achieved what I wanted to achieve?
That's very cool. I think it's something that you can control regardless of what happens in the world. That's what I'm getting.
Mm.
It's like that person at any stage is the compounded effect of the 1,000 days, of the 10,000 days. And that is all within your control on the micro, daily, the things that you do. Here we are on a Saturday recording. You're going back to the office later today.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you will do that 9,999 days out of 10,000.
Yeah.
Or whatever the numbers are. But like you put in the work and that will happen.
You can't. You have to love it. You have to fucking love it. You have to embody it. You have to, it has to be that thing that drives you. I've said no to so much in my life to be where I am right now. So I don't stop doing what I did that got me here. Because that's what happens. People do. They stop what they did. They stop reading the books. They stop doing the self-development. They stop waking up early. They start drinking. They start popping bottles. They start getting booths in clubs and driving luxury cars. And then guess what? Their fucking business falls apart. And then on comes the anxiety and depression because holy shit, everyone's going to realize how much of a fucking failure I am. And that's why I say there's pressures associated with continuing to keep the train moving forward, keep continuing to compound. Because I don't want to be a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
I want to continue to compound and grow. So although I have reached what some people would call success, for me, I'm just getting started. And it's about, no one gives a fuck about what you did yesterday. No one cares. When I went to the army, they weren't like, oh my God, this is Dylan Johnstone coming through, you know. Like, if you have any questions around business, ask him. They're like, fucking Private Johnston or Recruit Johnston, fucking go stand over there. No one cares. So you've got to fucking keep working. You've got to keep working. You've got to stay in the trenches. Live a little, of course. I just come back from 6 weeks overseas. What an amazing time.
Keeping that foot on the gas and being relentless every day, when do you live a little for that term? And I feel like it also makes me think of what you mentioned before around intimacy in relationships, friends, family, partner, whatever that is. When do you take some time, maybe not to pop bottles, but to go see a movie or stay in and see a movie and like do these things that are more conventional, the normal everyday person may do? Is there a part of you that indulges?
I think each individual is very different depending on their upbringing.
Yeah.
You'll know when's the time to do it. But when I say live a little, as you go along the journey, you can enjoy things very, very differently. as I've kind of progressed, I've wanted to share what I've created with the people around me. You know, one of my now business partners, I funded his wage for a whole entire year. Paid for the whole entire year. My business partners now, we achieve something, go and buy something nice with each other. I go overseas, I don't have to think twice before paying for something. Something goes wrong, no stress. So when I say live a little, create the freedom that you want, but create it for the people around you as well. Because it's good to have money, but it's 10 times better to share it with people that you're with. My little brother, perfect example. He's a big boy. Completely different to me. Big boy. 120 kilos, I think he was. I said, if you do 75 hard, I'll drop 5K in your bank account. He did it. Transfer straight on the spot.
Okay.
It's not about like the 5K or it's about you have things that you can do differently. I go to a charity auction. I can spend money, create impact. I can donate. I donated $42,000 to the Starlight Children's Foundation. These are the things. That to me is living. That is a part of the journey. Mind you, when I go to Dubai, fuck, I have fun. Hell yeah, I'm going to hide the Lambo. Hell yeah, I've still got the Rolexes. That's a constant reminder of you fucking proved everyone wrong. You proved everyone wrong. I've got a video on my phone of me sitting in a Lambo for the first time. Man,
how'd that feel?
Again, this is why like I want to keep putting this stuff out there. That I would get transported around in a van, like a smashed up van, old school, with like 6-8 kids in the back. And I've got a video of myself sitting in a fucking Lambo. You defy the odds. And you just being able to share that and just show people, I'm nothing special. It's doable. Yeah, it's a fucking Lambo, but it's what it signifies. Because growing up, you don't think any of that stuff happens to people around you. You don't, because you're just so used to seeing people either fucking die or go to jail or just do the same shit over and over again. So when I sat in the seat, it's like fucking surreal. You're just like, we're doing it, man. We're doing it. That's why I grew up listening to Lil Wayne, Drake, all this rap music, listening to people talk about the struggle and coming out. Now I'm living the life that they're talking about because I committed to myself. I committed to making a change, and I was like, fuck yeah, I can do this. I had an undeniable doubt that I would do it in the same capacity that I have an undeniable doubt that I will be a billionaire. I don't have a step-by-step fucking map on how I'm going to do it. I didn't have a step-by-step map on how the fuck I'd end up where I am now. But I knew that whatever life would throw at me, I'd make something of it. And I've been guided the whole entire way. I felt like a door has always opened for me to open to a new chapter. Every chapter opening up, letting go of things and moving forward. So when I say like live a little, live a little. Go and enjoy the nicer things on your journey.
Yeah.
I fucking said it in one of my posts for young kids. People talk about all these things to do if you want to become a millionaire. Go and get coffee in a rich area or a affluent area. Go and sit down next to someone who's got a $200,000 watch on. Just be around them. Listen to how they talk. Listen to what they say. Immerse yourself in the environment. Might cost you $8 for a coffee. But the more that you're around that proximity, you'll change your own thermostat and how you believe and see the world. Because you'll be like, fuck, these guys are fucking lazy. They're fucking not disciplined. I'd fucking smash these guys in business. And then you start getting excited because you know you can do it. And then when you do it, that's when you're like, I can take over the fucking world. Because I've done it.
Fuck yeah.
So when I got like that $18 million order, I closed that deal through Instagram, by the way.
Wow.
I set up an $18 million deal through Instagram. When I got that purchase order, you just laugh. You just, fuck. If my high school math teacher could see me now. Yeah, you're just like, fuck them all. Let's do it. Let's go. What's next? What's next? Come on, man. If I can do this, what else can I do? What else can I do? How far can I go? It's that, where is the fucking ceiling for me? Where is the ceiling? I've done the military twice. I've done the ultra marathons. I've done the business game. How far are we going to take this? Business was like my sport. It's like a sport now. I've fallen in love with it because I get to compete against big players. Big players. And when I beat them at their own game, fuck, it's good. I'm creative. I'm unique. I bring a different flair. I bring that hustle to business. I'm cold calling people in Greek. I'm sending pizzas to people's offices with slices missing, saying I'm the missing piece to your business. And for the people that are listening in sales, that's the shit that's going to make you different. So for me, it's just fucking give it everything you've got. Live and enjoy the process. Don't fucking get so fixated on the 20-year vision. Don't get so fixated on that. Have a business plan. Map out 12 months. Work towards it. Focus on the day-to-day shit. Your routine. How's your fucking routine look? Why are you doing what you're doing? Compound towards where you're fucking going so you know where you're going at least 12 months. And keep going from there. Every one of my businesses has got a plan. I'm just sticking with those plans. And I do what I do every single day that got me to where I am.
Very cool, man. Been going for a bit over an hour and a half. And I feel like I could ask you many more questions over many more hours, but I'm going to try and limit it to a couple. But I really appreciate you coming in, and yeah, already looking forward to a part 3 of you on this podcast at some point in the future. So thank you, bro.
Anytime. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. On the wall of your office, I believe, you posted a few weeks ago some values that your company have. 3 that I wrote down here: take initiative, be disciplined, always be learning. Those were 3 that stood out to me. There's probably a dozen or so on the wall. What is 1 or 2 values that underpins Dylan Johnstone?
Loyal and integrity. Loyal and integrity kind of go hand in hand, but loyal to myself, loyal to my peers, and loyal to the vision, and then integrity with everything that I do.
What is your definition of integrity?
Doing the right thing when no one's watching. I love it. Everyone says it's so cliche, but it's so fucking true. It is what it is. When I mean like do the right thing, I take things to a fucking literal sense. You go into the shopping mall. You go to your car, you put your groceries in your car. You notice there's a trolley there. Are you the person that goes and puts that trolley away? Or are you the person that gets in the car because someone else will do it? I believe that those are the little things that create a character of someone who will go and create something of significance. That person who's looking to do the right thing, going out of their way to do the right thing, regardless of getting a reward, a pat on the back, or anything. That's what's gotten me to where I am. And when I say the loyalty aspect, loyalty to myself as well. And I think people, they think loyalty to other people, but you got to be loyal to who you are as an individual. And that's why I say along my journey, if I lose who I am in that process, I haven't been loyal to myself. People spiral out of control, they have identity issues and they fucking lose everything because they lose that component. They lose that genuine aspect. That's two. I could go into quite a few more, but they're two that mean a lot to me. I'd say like, fuck, I wouldn't be real if I didn't say discipline was another one.
Yep. You can say as many as you like.
Yeah. Discipline's fucking huge.
Yeah.
Discipline is huge.
Yeah, last time you spoke a lot about motivation being fake. And discipline is the key.
Motivation is, if you need motivation, your why is not strong enough. If you need motivation, you're not cut out for it. You need to have, That's why adversity is fucking great. Adversity is kind of like a little bit of motivation. It's a little bit of like, I'm not going to say, it's like that C word, you know, a little bit of about you. You have a little bit of drive. Having a little bit of adversity gives that because you have something to fucking prove. But that ties into the motivation aspect of it. The discipline aspect of it, you need to actually have strong things to fix that too. Because if you're just running on the hype of a Machiavelli fucking podcast that you're listening to get you up every morning out of bed, you're going to fade. You're going to fade. I fucking fade now in business. I fucking get home sometimes and I'm just like, what the fuck? I'm cooked. But the alarm gets set. Next morning I get up and I do the same shit over and over and over again. It's a non-negotiable. You have, like, if you can't get that concept right, you're gonna be in a world of hurt, because you're constantly looking for that next thing. And like someone who's addicted to a drug or a substance, they need a little bit more each time. So like, how much fucking David Goggins can you listen to? How much Jocko Willink? How much Ed Milet? How much of any of these people can you listen to get you to a point where you just gotta fucking do it? And that's why I say sometimes people need to go through some fucked up shit in life because pain is a better motivator than pleasure. Sometimes people got to find out they're fucking terminally ill to change their fucking life. Sometimes people got to lose a partner. Sometimes people have got to fucking have someone close to them pass away for them to appreciate what they do have. So you either wait for life to give you the humble pie delivered or you make a fucking commitment to yourself. And that's why I say you got to be loyal to yourself. Who do you want to be? Do you want to be like other people? And that's fine if you do. I commend people that do that. If you want to live a fucking life, white picket fence, nothing wrong with that. I need people to hire. So more of you, the better it is for me.
Love it, man. I've loved this whole chat. As I say, I feel like I could keep asking from places of curiosity, but we'll keep it for next time. And I'm looking forward to seeing all the progresses. Before I let you go, the question that I end on typically, and you're a repeat guest, but I'm going to ask it because we're filming this time. And I feel like it could be a good thing to capture. What advice would you give to your younger self? Perhaps that 12-year-old kid living in government housing, maybe the maths teacher's giving you shit. we haven't talked about it too much in this conversation, but those early days, what would you go back to with all that you know now?
Give him hell. Give him hell. Really rip into it. Push that a little bit harder when I was younger, but give him hell. Because you're destined for it.
Amen, brother.
Yeah. Amen.
Anything else you'd like to share that I maybe haven't prompted with the question before
No,
I do let you go?
It's always a good chatting with you, and props to yourself. As much as I've come a lot in the last 1,000 days, you definitely have yourself. So I'm excited for what you're doing and what you're bringing out. And as I go through the journey, I'm sure that I'll be just as curious to sit with you and talk about how you've progressed. So keep doing what you're doing. You've obviously found your path, and I'm excited for you, and I know that will compound.
Thank you, brother. We're just getting started.
Easy, bro.
We'll leave it there. Legend.
Done. Anytime, bro.
So there you have it, another episode of the Hope Initiative. Thank you so much to Dylan for joining me for this second conversation. I'm already looking forward to the third and all that is to come for him in that time. As always, if you enjoyed this show, I would love for you to share it with a family member or friend, someone who you think will get some benefit out of it, someone who may need some hope in their life. All the links to Dylan are in the show notes, so please get in touch with him. And as always, keep creating your life and all the very best. Boom.